Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you've joined us. Today we get to meet with Max and Bev with Verbina, and they are going to show us about this tool. And I'll let you know, I had an opportunity to meet Bev just a few months ago, and she talked with me about what she's created and why she created it. And she captured me from my heart and my mind immediately. So we're going to have an opportunity today to watch them demo and give us some information about what they've created, perhaps where they're going with it, and answer some questions as we go. So the first part of the time together, they'll give us a demo, they'll share some information, and then as with all of our events, there'll be ample time for some open Q&A and discussion. Before we begin, I would like to give a bio for Bev. So Bev is an educator, facilitator, connector, and mom whose greatest passion is holding spaces for meaningful conversations. She spent over a decade teaching in classrooms, has led programs that invite parents and teenagers to connect at a deeper level, and has spent summers strengthening community. So of course that word there would automatically grab my interest, wouldn't it? She's also a community activist who has launched multiple programs to build community in her town. Bev also knows firsthand what it means to be a caregiver. She's cared for her father after he was diagnosed with brain cancer in 2004 until his death in 2005. More recently, her daughter was diagnosed with a rare health condition that has required ongoing care and medical attention. She found that there were a lot of resources for organizing logistics and sharing information, but what she craved most was heartfelt support from her community. She couldn't find an app that made it easy to gather this kind of support in private and secure ways, so she decided to create it. Bev, I just love that. If you don't have it, let's just create it. It's beautiful. So now I have the opportunity to hand it over to Bev and Max, and thank you both for joining us today. I'm grateful to have you here with us and to show us a little bit more about what you've created.
Oh, we're so excited to be here. Thank you so much, Denise. All right, we're going to share our screen. Wonderful. Do you all see it? Fantastic. Well, we're really excited to be sharing here to the PX community, and we are here with Verbina. So Verbina is the video collection app that promotes health and resilience for patients and caregivers. And we're really excited to walk you through how it works. So I'm Bev, and as Denise shared with you, I'm an experienced educator, facilitator, community builder, and connector. But really my most important job is being a caregiver. And that's a picture of Sadie actually 2 years ago, May 4th, 2021, when she was diagnosed with idiopathic intracranial hypertension, a rare health condition. And so for several months, I was really very focused on being her caregiver. And it was at that time that it really opened up my eyes to how lonely and isolating the health journey can be, not only for patients, but also for caregivers.
And hi, everybody. It's great to meet you all. I'm Max Clow. I'm co-founder of Verbina. And my background is in the social entrepreneurship space of 20 years of experience with organizations that are trying to bring kind of the best practices of the business world to address kind of urgent public problems. I am also a facilitator. A lot of my work is around creating spaces for people to connect and kind of share around purpose and vulnerability in ways that leave them feeling more connected to each other and to themselves. And I'm also a C-suite leader of a nonprofit. And I'm also trained as a master integral coach. And so Bev and I feel very aligned around, can we create spaces and kind of scale up spaces that leave people feeling more resilient and connected in hard times. Okay, so here's the problem. So health journeys are lonely for both patients and caregivers, and it's becoming increasingly clear that social isolation is a problem in itself. It's really harmful to health. And this is getting more and more press. Just this week, I think it was on Tuesday, the Surgeon General, Vivek Murthy, released this report on the epidemic of loneliness and isolation, which he is saying is actually a national kind of public health crisis. Huge numbers of people just feel so isolated that it's actually damaging to their health. And that is just the latest in really a growing body of research that is showing the health the benefits and problems of social connection. So to walk you through some of the biggest findings, they found that limited social connection is actually more harmful to health than smoking, high blood pressure, or obesity, which is really intense to think about. We know how unhealthy those things are, and to think that not being connected is even worse is really powerful. Research shows that 40 to 70% of family caregivers experience clinical symptoms of depression caused by feelings of isolation and loneliness. We're realizing that this caregiving experience is really hard. Social isolated adults with coronary artery disease have a risk of subsequent cardiac death more than 2 times greater than more socially connected peers. So if you don't have a really strong social network, your health is at risk. Final thing we'll highlight here is the risk of death among women and women with the fewest social ties is more than twice as high as the risk for adults with the most social ties. So it's just becoming increasingly clear that this is not a nice thing. It's not, oh, that kind of feels good to connect with your friends and family. It's medicine. It's actually essential for our health. And Verbina is really grounded in that understanding.
So the solution here is Verbina. It's a platform that makes it easy to gather video messages of support for patients and caregivers. And it's easy, we think elegant, and HIPAA compliant. Here's how it works. You have a user who we call the host. They create a video invitation. They invite friends, family, or colleagues to submit videos for a specific purpose. So here are a couple sample use cases. It could be encouragement for a friend who's about to have surgery, maybe support for someone who's undergoing chemotherapy, or even celebrating a key milestone in someone's treatment. And the way that it works here is that everyone who receives an invitation, they can easily submit videos that are viewable in what we call a Verbina video collection. So the contributors, they can view and be moved and inspired by each other's messages. So they can really build on each other. In other words, Verbina brings loved ones to the bedside. And when you see this picture, it's like, that doesn't happen anymore. You know, you're not going to have everyone, even though I know it was just announced that COVID is no longer, you know, like a health concern. It's like, we're still not going to have a scene like this. So patients benefit from stronger connections with Verbina, and clinicians and caregivers now have a new resource that they can easily leverage the power of social support.
And people always ask why Verbina. So here's where it comes from. Inspired by the Verbena plants, and we really wanted for this brand something that's natural, healthy, and healing and beautiful. And but we did tweak it a little bit. Verb is, you know, words, and Bina is actually a word in Hebrew that means wisdom. So by you know, changing it from a Verbena with an E to a Verbena with an I, it's kind of words and wisdom. So that's where the name of the brand comes from.
And we're gonna now show you how Verbina works. So can you all see? Can you all see we're at the Verbina website?
Yes.
Great. Okay.
Great.
So here we are, verbina.app. So right up here, I'm just going to go ahead and log in. But just so you see, when you log in, I'm already have an account. But if you're new here, you can connect with Google or with Apple. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. And here we have all of the video collections that I've created. And have participated in. But at the very bottom here, you've got something that says support for Susan. So Verbina already comes preloaded, if you will, with a sample video collection. It's called Support for Susan. So to give everyone kind of a sense of how does this work? Like, what does this look like? Because it's kind of a new model. And I'm going to show you. So here is Deb, and she's going to have an invitation video to invite others in. So I'm going to play that for you all.
Hi, I'm Deb, Susan's sister. I'm reaching out to you to collect messages of love and support for Susan while she's battling cancer. We all know what a positive and strong person Susan is, and I know your videos will give her what she needs right now. So please send a positive message, a shared memory, even a story that you think will make Susan laugh. Thank you so much.
So that's the video invitation that Deb would then send out to folks that would want to contribute a message for Susan. So here are the collected videos, and I'm going to share just a couple of them with you. Here's this one from Riva.
Hello, Susan. I just wanted to tell you, as your friend, I believe in you, and I know you can beat this fight. You're right, cancer is tough, but you're tougher. And it's important for you to stay positive, to never give up hope, and never, never call it quits. We are here for you, and you can beat this.
Just share one more with you. Here's from Jamal.
Hey Susan, it's Jamal. I just wanted to send my love and support as you go through this battle. Just want to let you know that I miss seeing you on our daily walks and you breaking down vegetables and teaching me how to grow a better garden. I hope I see you soon, and I hope you get better. Sending love from everybody on the block.
Great. So that's our sample video collection. And I'm just going to show you, here's my video collections. Here's a recent video collection that I created for a friend of mine who has cancer. So these are messages of love for Rhonda. And here's the video invitation that we created.
Hi, I'm Bev Clow. I'm a member of Temple Shir Tikva, and I'm inviting you to join me in sending messages of love and support to Rhonda. We want to use this video collection as a way to tell Rhonda we're thinking about her and we're sending good energy. I know so many of you have already contributed meals and dropped them off, and you've been sending messages on Facebook and sending emails. Here's another way to show Rhonda that we are thinking about her and we're sending her all the love we can. So join me, please, here in this Verbina video collection.
And here's all the videos that we collected for Rhonda. And if Rhonda wanted to, she could contribute a video kind of back as the recipient. She hasn't been up to it, but she could. From Allison.
Hi, Rhonda. I'm coming to you from the prayer garden at Temple Shir Tikva and sending you lots of love and prayers and hope and strength, and letting you know that you are a light at Temple Shir Tikva and also personally for me. So here's my message to you. You've got this. Keep going, and everybody loves you. Bye.
One more.
You want to share one more?
Our
Oh yeah, let's do it. Oh, yeah, that's right. Here's our kids.
We love you, Rhonda. I've known you for so long, and I've only just started working with you, but you put so much care and thought into all of your lessons, and I'm so thankful for you.
I could not have asked for a better bar mitzvah tutor. Every time that I talk to you, I'm reminded why I love you so much. and we're gonna get through this.
We love you.
Love you. Bye.
So that's Verbina.
I think let's stop sharing.
Oh yeah, here.
Yeah. So it gives you a sense of how it works.
We were going to just show the rest of our deck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if folks have questions, we could answer them now too.
I just want to say how beautiful that is. Oh, and your two kids, so sweet.
Thank you. Here, we just have a little bit more here.
Well, we'll just go through it. So here's our team, which, the two of us, we also have a chief technology officer who is, oversees the design and the build of all of this. And a great advisory council. So we have Carolina Alarco, who is in biotech and medtech, very involved in investing. Chris Colbert is the former director of the Harvard Innovation Labs. Great to have his perspective. Parvi Vaught is a board member of Wealthy and Empathy and Caring Bridge. She's really involved in a bunch of organizations in this caring space. Patrick Dowd is co-founder of an organization called Oye, which is kind of a mental health app that's being launched. He used to be head of collaboration at PayPal. Sean McGrail is a scaling expert, managing director at Golden Seeds. So really been super helpful as we try and grow this. And Denise is also here as well. So just a great group of folks with a mix of kind of innovation and healthcare, and feel really good about the folks we have supporting us in this. And I think that's it. We're happy to take some questions.
So I'm curious, where are you going next with this? Is there anything you can share?
I mean, really, so we spent a lot of time first on finding our product market fit and finding and really getting our product ready. And so in order to get it ready for partnering and for use, there were a lot of steps. And we learned pretty early on that we really needed to have a desktop build, because we started with the app. And then we learned for lots of different use cases, people were just more comfortable using their desktop. Number one, it's an older, the audience skews older. And then even for folks our age, that we're comfortable using our phones, but for the types of messages that you want to use for Verbina, it's something you want to sit down at your desk, have a bit more time and focus. And it also allowed us to do more things on the desktop that we just don't have room for on the mobile app. For example, when you're hosting and you're creating an invitation video, it kind of walks you through, we've got room on the side that will prompt you and walk you through, here are things you could say that we just didn't have room for on the app. And right now we're super focused on finding some partners. We really want to get it out to users. So that's what we're working on now.
And so you showed how the host sets it up, how people can add to it. How does the host send it to people? Is it via email? So
yes, you can send it using email, and you can also, capture a link that you could then use it for other social media channels or texting. But we've set it up so that, it can be used in different ways. But if you use the email, from the desktop, then the Verbina platform sends reminders to all the people who are part of it. Because sometimes people will join. This is what usually happens, is people join with the best of intentions, and then they are oh, I'll get to it later. So if you use the email, then Verbina will ping them at the cadence that the host selects, so that then they will be prompted all right, you're halfway through. Because sometimes it's best to really send an end date for when you want to collect these video collections by. So, and then it's all right, you've got another day, another 24 hours. People often will contribute at the end.
Yeah. We've learned a couple things. One is people need a little bit of support around what message, what to say, either for the invitation or the messages. So we've been able to build in some scaffolding of just, here's some clarity around what to share in your invitation and things to think about as you craft your messages, just because it is a little challenging for people to figure out what to say to people going through this. And also people need reminders. So we built in some kind of automated reminders to help out with that.
And I love that you mentioned that, Max, because I know when I'm writing a letter of sympathy or a get well, I often Google search, what is the best thing to say? What words should I not use? That's nice that you have some of that to help people as well.
And along those lines, I've started a short little video series called Conversations on Caring that really kind of walks people through different types of examples of people who are involved either as professional caregivers, they're in that field of care tech, or people who are on health journeys, either as patients or caregivers, and they can give real perspective of things that they like being said, things they don't like being said. We know that there's not one right thing to say, because different people have different opinions, but we do know you got to say something. Silence is never the answer. Just because you don't know what to say doesn't mean you should say nothing. So that is, we hear that over and over.
It's worth highlighting, since this is for patient experience, of, we talk about it as connection anxiety. There's some anxiety that goes with connecting and sharing messages with people going through these things. And so we're really trying to build in support to help people kind of get over that and find ways to find something they're comfortable saying. Because there's the strictly technical question of, is it easy to use and intuitive to upload messages, videos, and that. But there is a whole other element of this, of just kind of getting over the anxiety around what to say to my friend or family member who's going through a hard time. And we're really trying to build this app so that it's helpful to people in that.
Mm-hmm. And Bev, you identified to put an end date on capturing. Do then all the videos go to the person at one time, or are they getting the videos as they're loaded?
That's a great question. So the way that it's designed is that you collect all of them and then you share it with the recipient. So like there is like a share with recipient function, but you could invite you don't have to always have a recipient. For example, if it was like, this could also, Verbina could be used for many different use cases. I've had some conversations with folks about like, could this be used around bereavement? Yes. In that case, it might be everyone within a particular, family, community, and you could be gathering folks on an anniversary, or just soon thereafter someone passes, as a way to share stories. In that case, you're not sending it to a recipient. So, many different use cases for sharing these messages of love. But what we kind of like to think about it, it's similar to, if you can imagine, like everyone's sitting at like a large dining room table, and it's like everyone's there, and you don't have to say something to be part of the conversation. So sometimes, like I shared with Rhonda, like she was the recipient, she's gotten these messages, but she hasn't responded. And sometimes you will have, not in that particular video collection, but sometimes people will join a video collection and not say anything, but like they want to be there.
And it is a little different. There are some other kind of video collection platforms, but many of them don't let you see the videos that other people submit.
Yeah.
And there's real power in feeling like you're sitting at the table and hearing what other people are saying and being kind of moved and inspired by other conversations. So it really is trying to simulate that. What does it feel like to actually be together in person, having this conversation together?
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Max, because that was going to be one of my questions. If I'm not the host, can I see what everybody else shared? And it sounds like yes. So can I comment on them or hit a like button or anything like that? Is there a social media-ish thing?
So there is no like button, but you could respond to what someone else has said. You could say, like, I'm going to build off on what Bev and Max said in their video. I'm also sending, support for, an appreciation for something specific, like maybe we mentioned. But there are no likes. And we don't share and gather any personal information, like we're HIPAA compliant. So.
Yeah. This part of the motivation for this was just seeing how problematic existing social media is. That at this moment when there's all this problems around social connection, it exacerbates problems as much as it helps. And with this focus on those kind of metrics and likes, and we really thought, what does it mean to make humane tech that's care tech, and is not about how do I accumulate likes and kind of build my personal brands, but it's really about how we connect and kind of share authentically with each other.
Yeah, I love that, humane tech.
Which we should say, the first video collection is free, so people can try it, and then subsequent video collections are $9.99. And part of that is we're never going to sell your data. We're not going to look for advertisers. We just want to keep this as simple and straightforward as possible.
But only the host is paying for that. So all the contributors are contributing for free. Kind of imagine it like if you're hosting the party, you're paying for the meal and your guests are coming. So only the host is the one paying.
And is that $9.99 for like one video collection session, so to speak?
Yeah, it's like for that whole video collection. Yeah.
And is there a couple of questions I had, and you guys have kind of talked through those. Is there an organizational level? So let's say I work at the organization, but I want to be able to provide it for families that are in an acute care setting without them paying. Is there an organizational model?
Yeah, I mean, like that's really our hope, is where we want to go, Tony, is like to have this be like used for enterprises where, an organization would say, we want this benefit for, all the families or all of our patients, or, that is.
It's exactly where we're at in our process. And it could be as simple as, here's a code that anybody in your organization uses so that they have to pay, or there could be a little bit more like an admin page, that sort of thing. But that's exactly where we're kind of at, is working with organizations that want to explore that kind of thing.
Okay. A couple other questions, sorry.
That's great, Tony. I'm so glad you're here.
I've talked before, and
it's great.
And so, I know you and I have talked a little bit about how this could impact the team member experience and team member engagement.
Yeah.
So you want to talk to us a little bit about that? I know you and I have.
It's interesting because Denise, the three of us were talking about that right before we started, is that, Verbina could be so useful as a tool for support for healthcare workers, and how this could be used to support folks who are, we know this is a real dire problem for healthcare workers who are just leaving the force, in record numbers. And this could be a way to give them the, it's like, it's not always about monetary gifts, but it's about the support and recognition, and about the connection, that social connection piece, and that's really our hope, is that this can be used to address the loneliness that people feel in so many different ways,
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to that. I think it could be really impactful in a, in a serious way, but in a TikTok way also. So,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
could be, a lot of fun and kind of uplifting
Definitely.
for people. A couple of things kind of crossed my mind, and I think Max, that you brought something up that made me jot down end of life and hospice care, and the
Yeah.
opportunity for people to really be able to engage with loved ones, friends, and families, during that time, and also senior living spaces.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Those are two areas that we're really interested in supporting folks. I have, Denise mentioned at the beginning of the call, like my father was sick. He ended up in hospice care. At the time, it was like less than 5 friends and family were able to come to where he was living at the time. It's hard to get to people, and a Zoom call for someone at that point is just, it's not gonna work. If you've been, it's really not going to work. And also your days and your nights, it's not, you're not gonna be able to set something up to be able to coordinate it. But like, that's we think the real beauty of Verbina is that it can be used at the time that works for the recipient, and it can be viewed over and over again.
Right.
Like they've got a whole video collection, and they might say, I want to go to those certain videos and like listen to them, as needed. Maybe it's, at the start of every day.
Yeah, when it works for them.
When it works for them.
Yeah.
And as well for senior living care, I think there are a lot of opportunities as well.
Yeah,
I think
sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, I think there's so many families for whom they are not living in the same part of the country as their loved ones, and this would be a way to really gather families together in a way that's meaningful and easy.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when we think about some of the senior living and nursing home spaces, many folks there are so lonely, and and it really be a nice way to lift their spirits.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think about what we went through with COVID, how beautiful this tool would have been to have, right, when we weren't letting people in at all.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We were starting to build it around COVID, and like what it showed for us is like, okay, people can learn new technology at all ages, and it's meaningful. It's always best to be in person, but video connection is real. Here we are, like
And as the research shows, it's not just nice. Like there's
Right.
health benefits to this.
Yes.
Social connection as medicine is a whole different paradigm for, hey, it's nice to watch a video.
Right.
It actually, matters for people's health.
Yeah, and it's interesting, Tony, when you were talking about for communication among caregivers. So if I, as a leader, set one up for my team, right, we're going to celebrate somebody's birthday or anniversary, whatever it is, that you have that, and that in that moment it's special, and you can replay that moment over and over, because we so often forget those nice things people say about us, and it'd be nice to be able to hear it again, or hear that love and support that's been sent my way. Yeah. So I heard you say the videos are always available. So these collections, they're always available to the recipient to be able to reaccess, and that's nice.
Okay. Yeah, they live on the cloud. So I mean, that's one of the reasons why it's not free, because we have to pay for cloud storage and all of that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And we can also say there are other video collection platforms out there. They're not tailored to this need. Like it just doesn't feel quite right to send some of these other things to people who are sick. The brand is not really about it. The platform is not designed to help people share these messages in these kind of more sensitive situations. So we really see that there's a need here. People are getting more and more comfortable doing these kind of video messaging, but this really is a unique enough need that we need a solution that is really understands what this is about and what it means to be sharing messages for folks in these situations.
Yeah. I didn't share this video collection, but we used it for our daughter Sadie. She was having an MRI, and it was like part of her routine care, and maybe 48 hours or so before the appointment, it's like, oh, I'm gonna like make a Verbina video collection. And so I just reached out to just a few people. Like, when you're about to go in for an MRI and you're in middle school, this does not need to be on Facebook. Like, this is not you don't need everyone to know, like, hey, I saw your mom posted. No. This is just to like a few folks who already are aware of
the inner circle.
Yeah, exactly. The inner circle. And it was like, we had a very short window. Hey, send that in by tomorrow. And then I got all those videos. And then on our drive to the Children's Hospital, I was like, Sadie, hey, and I sent it to her, to her phone. And then she's like, oh my gosh, look at this. And she got to watch these videos over and over during this drive. That's usually really stressful. And it's like, what do you do as the caregiver, as the parent, to kind of set this, to make your kid as comfortable as possible? Yes, we use relaxation apps and let's find the right music, but it's also pretty awesome to say, like, here, your friends and some family members are sending you messages that are just super supportive. She got to watch those in the car. And then when we got to the hospital, we're sitting in the waiting room, she pulled it out again. It's like, oh, look at those again.
Yeah.
So,
which of course her friends and grandparents couldn't all be sitting there with her in the waiting room, but this is pretty close.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and like when watching the video again, it's like, oh my gosh, it's Luke's dog. Like, look, I love Sunny. You know, it's like all those like little things
Yeah.
that, you know, so that's it was really, it was like proof of concept of like, wow, this really is helping out a patient at that moment, where they really just need a little extra connection.
And I know you didn't create this just for the patient to receive. You also created this as something that their caregiver, so in your case, as mother and father of, that you
Yeah.
could receive the same messages or similar type of messages in support of you and the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
to give
Yeah. I mean, we
people.
know that being a caregiver is really hard work. Like the research has come out that it's lonely. It's lonely being a caregiver. I mean, I remember when Sadie was first diagnosed, my mom said, I'm more worried about you than I am about her, because it's hard to be a caregiver. It's extremely isolating and lonely. And I think that for me, when I was a caregiver, I turned to two different kind of avenues for support. One was like, I wanted to find other caregivers, other parents who were also had a child with the same particular small condition, and like found those folks. And then it was like had positives and negatives, because like I didn't know them. We, you know, had different health teams, you know, different protocols, you know, maybe different ideas of how we were going to really treat our children. And then I also needed the support from people I knew. So I think that I'm not unique in that, wanting to get support from people who maybe are not in the same situation, but they're people who know me and love me. So.
And also when we kind of looked at what's out there, there's so much around how do you make sure people are getting meals?
Yes.
How do you make sure people are set up so there's trips to the doctors? Like so many
It's a lot of
folks trying to
checks.
use technology to help with the logistics. But there was kind of a white space around just how do we make sure these people feel love from, you know, the folks they're close to.
Yeah.
Right. So the video collection, when it's sent to the individual, is it closed for adding new people to join to it? Or so is it now just those who submitted, it got sent to the individual and they can respond and there's back to back with those in the collection? Or
so it's not fixed. Like it is. So for that example, like the video collection I showed you for those messages for Rhonda, you know, someone I think everyone who I invited did respond, but like someone else could still join. Or if Rhonda says to me, hey, can you invite someone else? We could still keep adding to it. The one thing though that I will say is like the host, they're the person who invites people. So as a contributor, you can't then forward the invitation on. Like it's not designed for that. You know, really like the job of the host is to really invite folks.
And I will say, a lot of people kind of bring the mental model of social media of like, you want to broadcast this everywhere. It's really designed on, we want the host to be able to hold the space and make sure that the people in the space are the folks we want in the space. And so the host has a lot of power. Like if there's somebody who shouldn't be there, they can make them go away. If the story that isn't appropriate, they can make that story go away. So a lot of power for the host to make sure that the space is a safe space focused on supporting whoever the recipient is.
I mean, we just, you know, this Verbina grew out of a desire to help people. You know, I've always at my core been someone who is a connector. And this is like my attempt to like really reweave the fabric of our world, if you will, you know, and like one conversation at a time. And that's the goal has always been for Verbina to be a space where people feel loved, supported, and seen. And that's really our greatest desire.
Beautiful. That's a perfect way to end, Bev. Well done.
Thank you.